In this video, we'll be looking at the properties of metals. All elements have two types of properties. They are physical and chemical properties. Physical properties are properties that can be measured and observed. Chemical properties of an element become evident after observing chemical reactions of that element. First, we'll start with physical properties. The first property we are going to look at is high boiling and melting point. Metals have high boiling and melting points because the metallic bond between the electrons and the metal ions are very strong. Their attraction is very strong, and we require a lot of energy to break this bond, which is why metals are normally present in solid state at room temperature. The next property we are going to look at is metal conductivity. Metals are great conductors of heat and electricity. When something is a conductor, it means it allows the flow of charge. Before understanding why metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, we need to understand what makes them a conductor of heat or electricity. For any substance to conduct heat or electricity, it needs to have moving charged particles. Charged particles can be cations or anions. Basically, they can be positive or negative. Metals are good conductors because they have delocalized electrons that can freely move around. Electrons have a negative charge and they are able to move around in the solid state, which is why metals can conduct electricity in solid state, liquid state. We need to notice here that ions are a part of a lattice structure and are held together by bonds. So they can barely move, which is why we need the delocalized electron. The next property we are going to look at is malleability and ductility. Ductility is the property that allows metals to be stretched into wires. In a lattice structure, metal ions are arranged in layers on top of one another. When pressure is applied on the structure, the layers slide over one another and line up to form a wire. On the other hand, malleability is the ability to beat metals into sheets. The reason behind this is also the same. Since the layers of the lattice structure can slide over one another, we can easily turn them into desired shapes. You might already know the next property. Metals are sonorous. Sonorous means they make a ringing sound when we strike them. Metals are sonorous because of the delocalized electrons. When a metal is hit, the delocalized electrons receive kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy makes them move rapidly, and this rapid movement produces the sound that makes the metal ring. Metals are also lustrous. Lustrous meaning they are shining. Take a metal vessel from your kitchen and shine it under the light. You will notice that it becomes extremely shiny, it's extremely reflective. Metals are shiny because of their delocalized electrons. The delocalized electrons in a metal lattice doesn't let light pass through the metal, and when it comes in contact with light, it moves around and reflects the light back, which is why metals reflect almost all the light that falls on them. Now that we have discussed all the physical properties of metals, let's look at some real-life applications. We all know wires are used to distribute electricity. The wires that are used most commonly are copper wires. We use copper wires because copper is a really good conductor of electricity because it's a metal. If you noticed, your kitchen would be filled with utensils made of metal. We use metals in our kitchen because one, they have a very high melting and boiling point, so they won't melt when heated for cooking, and another important reason is that metals are good conductors of heat. Because they are good conductors of heat, the heat from the stove can easily conduct through the vessel and reach the food, which allows for faster and better cooking. We're able to use metals to make a wide range of kitchen utensils and vessels because of its malleability and ductility. It allows us to shape it into various desired shapes. Likewise, metals have various applications which are not just in our houses. Now we are going to look at the chemical properties of metals. We discussed earlier that chemical properties are properties that are observed during a chemical reaction involving that element. The chemical properties of metals include they burn in the presence of oxygen to form oxides. When a metal reacts with oxygen, it burns, and then the compound it forms as a result is called an oxide, suppose magnesium oxide. Metal oxides are bases, they neutralize acids. Hydrogen gas is produced when metals react with acids. Highly reactive metals can react upon the presence of water. These properties are more complicated as they involve other concepts like reactivity and acids and bases, so we'll be looking into them in more detail in a later stage. This is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel, like the video, and comment down your thoughts and doubts.